Hi, this is Max Ryan. It's just after midnight on Wednesday, the March the 15th. I wanted to try the new GPT 4 model that just came out yesterday, and I've been working on a program within Google Sheets, which is very similar to Microsoft Excel. And what it's my program does is it goes through the entire Canley database and takes all Canadian law cases and breaks them down into what we're learning in school. We use an acronym, FIRAC, and it breaks it down into that to make it very easy to know what the case is about very quickly to see if it is applicable. It's not meant to take away from reading the entire case, but what it does do is it allows a person to quickly see what the case is about, and if they think that it would be applicable to what they're trying to get research for, then it includes a URL link to the Canley database so that you can read the entire Supreme Court of Canada case and see if it does actually apply. My program uses meta file data, so it takes a case and it puts in keywords beside each one, and that's really the main use of the AI tool for me, is because when it's all done, you'll be able to just use an AI prompt very similar to the one I'm going to show you here, and you'll be able to say, I don't know, what's a good example? Please find me all Indigenous Supreme Court cases that have to do with growing of wild rice. Um, and so it would return then a list of all applicable cases with them, each one of them broken down into the FIRAC model, as I'm about to show you here as one example. And then it would also show the URL. And then what the person would do then is look quickly at each of the FIRAC data, see which ones they think are applicable, perhaps all of them, perhaps just a few of them, and they will be able to have a checkbox, which they'll check which ones are applicable, and then they click on a button and it goes through the URLs for each one that you've clicked, and it assembles them all into a PDF booklet that it then appears on your screen, so that you'll be able to have all the cases that you've selected in their entirety using the Canley legal database. Within the database itself that my program creates, you'll be able to do keyword searches and using AI. So you'll really be able to do, um, you know, I think you'll be able to do incredible searches that are so far beyond these Boolean expressions that are 20 years old, and they were wonderful at the time. But AI just works so much better. So you'll really be able to choose anything. You'll be able to give me all cases that were, I don't know, anything. They were represented by this lawyer, or they had this judge, or that had to do with, I don't know, anything. They had to do with the product Coca-Cola. Give me every single case between these years. And you'll be able to put them in those terms, and it will search through everything. A lot of that has to do with the metadata that I'm collecting, but it also has to do with just the fact that these models of AI are just incredible. So far, I've been using the GPT-3. That's what I started to create on. It then turned into the GPT 3.5, and just yesterday, the 4 model came out. So I'm doing this video just to show you one example of one case of how it can break out. So what I've done is taken the logic of my program that I use for the Google Sheets, and I put it into this OpenAI script that is going to use as a default the GPT-4, and I put my program in, and I've called it FIRAC-FILAC. I don't know why, but I've had better success with the AI program using the acronym FILAC, where L stands for, the law, the applicable law. So that's all I have to do here. I then, within the entry text box, I just put in the case. I've used 2 other ones previous to recording this just to try them out, and they seem to work well. So this will be one that I'm very familiar with, but I haven't tried on the GPT-4 yet using this program, and I thought it would be a good one to try for this recording. It's a famous one, so you'll be able to, hopefully most of you will be able to see if the what it returns is accurate or not. So all I do is enter the case file, and as you can see, I'm not putting the whole title in there. I'm just simply putting the bare minimum, and I hit enter. It then takes my program off the FIRAC-FILAC, and then it starts to write. And yeah, so far it looks good. Now converting my program into the one that this uses, it's almost the exact same. What mine does is it takes 10 different results, and then for each one, like facts, issue, law, for each one of those, it does it 10 times, and then it summarizes them concisely. So because in the more repetitions you do it, this AI program will pick up new things, new laws. For this one here, I'm just running it once. Um, and I believe from what I've read is that GPT-4, you should only have to run it once or twice. For the GPT-3 model, that's where I started to run it, 5 to 10 times each time. And what I found that was very thorough by the time it reached the fifth or the 10th iteration. Okay, so it does seem, I'm just looking at quickly, but it does seem to be perfect actually. And this is the below URL. So I'll click on this, and then hopefully it'll bring up the URL page for the Ken Lee for the Crown versus Morgenthaler. And now my program, the only difference is it would just save it in the spreadsheet table. Uh, and it would do it for every single case. There's thousands of cases. But this one here could be used for any student in a class just to quickly look up information. Um, anyway, I think it's a good little program. So let me click on this, and yeah, it's perfect. So that's great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.